What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 130, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday. I am Kevin McManus, locked in this hot room with me, Kellen Williard.
It's like a hot box.
Oh, it's awful. So I do want to say, I think this one will go live in July, but I think for the rest of July, we're going to do something different for each episode. I have some plans, so every episode for the next 3 episodes are going to be different, and please let us know how you feel about them, because it might dictate some stuff in the future, kind of just experimenting around with that stuff. But, like I said, it's really hot up here.
Wish we had more fans, and I don't mean on YouTube.
Extremely. So let's hop right into it and talk about some comments from last week's video. And the first comment we have from Joshua Maria says, "Great episode, like always, guys. Thank you so much." This is very nice. I always appreciate comments that are just like, hey, you're not screwing stuff up, so that's cool.
You don't suck as much as you used to.
I'm like, yeah, good job. So thank you very much for that comment. It means a lot. Next, World End. We were talking about 2018, the rest of the year.
Yep.
What I'm going to call the good half of the year.
It's been slow so far. There's been some good stuff, but
yeah, we're going to be talking about later this episode about our, game of the year so far, and I feel like it's a little weak. I actually feel like it's a lot weak.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about what games are we going to get for the next half of the year, and World End chimed in and said, for me, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is the remake sequel, I believe. In September, there's Spider-Man, there's Valkyria Chronicles 4, and Code Vein, and he says he's deciding if he's going to be getting those on PC or PS4. And he also says, Shadow of the Tomb Raider for PC, I'll get it later this year. And I actually have a question for you. I remember he played the, not original Tomb Raider, but the reboot Tomb Raider earlier this year, I believe. And he said it didn't hold up well, which I thought was a little surprising.
Really?
So I'm curious, if you played Rise, how did that hold up? Because I think I played that game this year, and I still thought it was amazing. So I'm curious what you think about it. In the same vein, Zach Yoder chimes in and says, my list for the rest of the year probably will skip Code Vein and Tomb Raider since September is kind of insane. I don't fault you for that. It is very unfortunate that you're skipping Tomb Raider, because I do think that one will be good. But I understand completely. He says July, Octopath Traveler. Good one.
Yeah.
August, Yakuza 2 again. September, Dragon Quest 11, Spider-Man, Code Vein, Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Good lord.
And then December, Super Smash Brothers chiming in there. So
what's that game?
You're retired from
I'm
Smash
retired
Brothers.
from Smash.
I don't know if we've ever told this story.
No, I
on the podcast.
I don't want to talk about it.
So I will tell it. So we were filming a bunch of Let's Plays. I think we did 5.
I was here all day.
All day. We did
a
a whole
5
filming.
or 6.
It was really nice, actually. We got all these videos out of the way. Felt real good about it. Thank you so much. We go to watch them. No audio in any of the videos that we filmed. And we were playing competitive games, but our Smash Brothers game was one of the best Smash matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It ended with, I believe, you as Link with a bomb in your hand.
Yeah.
Forgetting to throw it and jumping.
Yeah.
And it exploded, and it happened to just hit me and knock me off, and you were at 270%.
I hit something above me, and it bounced me down, and then you just went off the map.
Yeah.
That was match 7 of 7.
It was ridiculous. And we filmed all that, and there was no audio, and you're just like, I'm never playing Smash Brothers again.
I can't
and you
do this
have
anymore.
Literally not
I have
played
not touched
Smash Brothers again since that. So,
and I won't.
I will get you to play the new one, though, when it comes out.
Negative.
But thank you guys for your comments. As always, if you leave comments down below on this video, we will cover them in the next week's podcast that we film. Let's move into what we've been playing. It's been a while since you've been on the show.
Has it?
You're champion.
Yeah, of course.
How do you feel about that?
I'll take anyone, even if it's by default.
You are champion, so that's exciting. Been a while since you've been on. Why don't you start with what you've played recently?
Oh, God. So Siege got its big update, new season.
Mm-hmm.
New operators are fun. I like them. PUBG got its new map. Instead of its 8x8 maps, it usually has its little 4x4 map.
Yeah.
It's literally a fourth of the size.
I've seen it. It seems cool.
It's very neat because there's 2 big islands. There's basically 4 islands that connect through bridges and waterways and stuff. But it's a very different aesthetic than the other ones. It's not as bland and gray and kind of realistic. It's a lot more bright and colorful.
Yeah, they did 4 different biomes, I guess, within that one. I actually think that's cool. It's kind of the closest thing you get to a deathmatch I mean,
It's
Battle
much-
Royale is definitely
Being that
but
small, it's a lot faster paced than PUBG usually is.
yeah,
It makes
feels,
it play a little different.
It's kind of like Call of Duty in like that. It's closer quarter, but like you still only have one life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the rules don't change, just smaller.
But I've heard good things about it.
It's a lot of fun. They're doing that crappy battle pass thing now, though.
Yeah, just to get people up to speed on it, since we don't normally talk about PUBG. Yeah, they're doing a battle pass, same idea, $10. You get it for a shorter amount of time. I think it's only 30 days.
It's only a month, yeah.
Which is almost 3 months or 2 months less than Fortnite's. Obviously, PUBG already a game that you pay for.
Yeah, it's
so people
$30
are like, why are
up
you
front.
charging us more? And then you don't even get to keep the stuff that you unlock if you're doing like the free one and all this stuff. Very, very strange and feels, I don't know, just feels very out of place.
It's just odd. That game's never done anything like that before. But
Yeah.
I mean, the game's not old. It's still fairly new, but
It's not even out on Xbox.
it shouldn't be. It doesn't run very well. No, I've been messing around with that kind of stuff and stuff on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a new monitor. It's all expensive and pretty.
Yeah.
So I have my PlayStation back on because it's got a real TV again. So I finally got into Detroit.
Yeah.
I think I'm about halfway, according to Nick. Except I hadn't played it in a couple days because I fucked up one of the missions and I'm mad at myself.
I was wondering.
It seems like a very important mission and I just completely fucked it up. I was like, I'm gonna go back and redo that later. I'm mad at myself. So of course my PlayStation on means I'm playing MLB every freaking day.
Yeah, I see you're on all the time.
Yeah, I get home from work and I
Literally
play
all the
MLB.
time.
I love those games. That's not even the newest one. It's last year's version. But I still love those games. Like It's just fun because I love baseball. Like, what else have I been doing? That's about it.
What about Final Fantasy 15? How do you
Oh, yeah,
think-
15. That game made me sad. They did something very sad in that game, and I haven't been back to it. I've gone back and done one or two things. I just did one of the big dungeons to get one of his armor gear weapons.
What'd you get to a sad story?
Yeah,
Beat?
I was very upset by that.
Gotcha.
I got one of the armor gear weapons. Like I've got 9 or 10 of the 12 or 13. I think I remember 12 or 13.
Wow. You're deep in that game.
I'm over 40 hours now. Hadn't
Like
beat
it
it
a lot.
yet. That game's a lot of fun. That game looks really good on PC.
Yeah, I like people talk about the looks of that game, and I mean it does look really pretty. But the thing that I liked more about it was the animations, like the characters.
They're very
at least the
fluid.
main characters, their sense of weight,
Their main
the way
party
they
is
shift their weight and stuff was really good.
They feel like they're actual, like they have some bit of realism to them.
Running,
The way they
felt like
move, the way
running.
they interact, the way they have to move around each other sometimes, and they kind of yell at you if you swing your sword and hit them. Like
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the game.
It's very
that
neat, yeah.
and the characters just.
that game looks very good. Like that, my new monitor makes all the lighting look like PUBG or not PUBG. Siege looks like it's naturally lit now. It's really weird, but because it looks so much better. But I found a trick for Final Fantasy 15 where I doubled my frame rate and it's like 90 frames now. It's a lot smoother than it was. I'll probably finish that next week because whenever I finish that in Detroit, I'm going to move into God of War.
Yeah.
I still have your God of War I need to play.
Yeah.
I can't. I didn't know if I want to do God of War first or Senua. But it's a lot shorter though.
I would do God of War first.
Because you've done both, but Okay.
I have a hot take. I like Senua better.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably buy PS4 Pro this week actually. Now that I have a 4K.
And then Todd's getting a
and still Todd
PlayStation.
my PlayStation.
Yeah, so he can finally talk about some PlayStation games.
But
He's
he's
always
been
on here
wa-
talking about them because he plays them with us, but like he'll actually have one.
He's like, I love God of War. It's my favorite franchise ever. Todd, you don't have a PlayStation? Oh yeah.
Well,
the hell?
he had a PlayStation 2.
Yeah, he
and
played all the old
borrowed
ones.
a 3, I think, to play it. But
Yeah.
is that about it for those?
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, what I've been playing is really light this week. I finished the Octopath expansion. I already beat it the last time I talked, but like I did all 80 levels, and then I did the final secret boss. And this is the spoiler cup. I'm talking about the final boss. It's a Splatoon boss. It has nothing to do with anything. The final boss here, the secret boss, I'll remove the cup when the spoilers are over, though you probably already tuned out. The final
Yeah, I have.
secret boss is just another like Splatoon character.
Yeah.
But they have access to all the supers.
Oh, that's right. I heard
Infinite
about it,
amounts
yeah.
of them. They are deadly accurate, and they can dodge roll even though they don't have dualies. And it is the most infuriating fight ever. And it's like 5 rounds. So like the first one you start and they throw the auto bombs that walk and then explode, which is the main reason this is so hard. And they're just trying to shoot you with their guns and dodge rolling. And you beat that one. And you're like, oh, okay. And all you have is the regular splatter shot and the dumb grenade, the regular standard grenade.
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't get a super or anything. So you do that. Then they start doing splashdown every like 4 seconds, the punching the ground, and they can do the jetpack thing. And then they're doing all these supers, and they have the infinite auto bombs is the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my life. And you're locked in this little arena with no cover or anything, and they're just like a sniper. I might have been more mad at that than I was at like any other boss fight that I've done.
Fair enough.
Not true, but like I was really mad. But I beat it and I got the golden hairpin that you get for beating it.
That's all you wanted.
And then I played in one multiplayer match and almost everybody in the match had the golden hairpin. And I was like, this is unbelievable. How did all these people do this? It was really, really hard.
They play more than you. Although you reminded me by saying Octopath that I did play the Octopath Traveler.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that for a minute. We talked about it last week, but what did you think?
I did 2.5 hours of the 3 hours with 2 different classes. I think Nick's tried all of them because he's Nick. That game is going to be awesome. Like, I'm very much looking forward to that. I love the combat of the ones I played.
You really liked Bravely Default, right?
I did like Bravely Default.
Yeah, it's the same team.
I need to buy the second one. It reminds me a lot of Bravely Default.
Yeah, the same guys.
Because it has that way of building up moves where you can do 2 or 3 in a turn. That's their Brave and Default system. That's why it's named that.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminds me of that, but a lot prettier, and I think a better map. I like this map more.
Yeah. So who did you play as?
I played as I think it's the Ranger.
Okay. Interesting. We all picked different characters.
The Archer. Or just not a Ranger, a Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the female Archer, basically.
Yeah.
Her job is to hunt things. She's very neat because you can just capture the things you're fighting if they're just wild animals, and they have different moves and abilities. So after you capture enough of them, you can cover every weakness by yourself. Because like one of them will hit as a sword, so it does sword weakness. Like,
yeah,
she's extremely well rounded. She seems like one of the main combat.
I'm playing as Primrose, the dancer, and she can seduce people into the party with you. So it's sort of similar because like you can seduce warriors, and then you have like sword attacks, and then she can do magic as well.
Yeah, they all interact with townspeople differently. Well, the hunter walks up and sicks one of her beasts on it and just fights them. That's how she
really?
She's like, attack that guy, and then they have to fight you.
Yeah, Primrose has a chance of alluring them into the party, but like if you fail, they'll like ban you from the town. As far as I understand.
Yeah, there was some way you can go into like the pubs or whatever, and you can like check your town like level, or like your I can't think of the word. Your standings in the town.
Yeah.
Because if I fight too many people, I think it goes up.
Yeah.
I hadn't tried that yet, though.
No, that game's sweet. And
it's very neat.
Yeah, last week I was talking about it, and I was like, I feel like in the original demo, you could chain attacks together more. And in this demo, you can't. And then I replayed more of it, and I realized that you just have to hit R multiple times.
Yeah, it goes up to 4.
Yeah, I only did it for 2 every time, and I still just beat it. And I was like, I'm surprised I didn't struggle with that.
It didn't seem super hard. It seems like it'll get harder later.
Yeah, no.
Because you can't see enemy health bars.
You can.
Well, there's somebody who can. But
yeah, you'll be able to.
Not the ones I had, so I couldn't. But
that makes it hard because you don't know the risk reward of an attack.
It's like, should I go all out, or am I going to die to one? Like,
yeah, I'm sure there's other ways to do that, but that game is phenomenal.
But I mean,
so far,
she's very cool. That the hunter I was using, because you can capture beasts to do different stuff. There's one that heals just somebody for like half their health. Like, she's just very well rounded. But she has a bow. Bows are sweet.
Correct. So the other thing that I've been playing is Dark Cloud 2. Now, I've been playing this for about a month. I just haven't talked about it on the show. And I'm not going to go super deep into it, but man, that game is super deep. There's so many systems and things going on in that game. I feel like I just got out of the tutorial. I'm actually further in it than I've ever been before. And you rebuild the town, though it's different than Dark Cloud 1, where you kind of have the same town 100%ed whenever you finish. In this one, there's just certain tasks that you have to do. So, like, at least 15 spaces of river, and fence in this house. And this person wants this near their house, but there's tons and tons of assortment ways that you could do that in, as opposed to the last one where people were very much like, I want to be next to this, and if I'm not next to this, it's no good. So that's cool because the town feels a little bit more personalized. Everybody's will look very different. There's a future mechanic where when you're building the town, you can travel to the future and see what it looks like in the future to get kind of information and things. And so there's that going back and forth between the future. There's the dungeon crawling, which is the main focus of the game, where you go in and then you either leave the dungeon with your spoils or you try to push further and then die and get kicked to the main menu, which is very frustrating. There's a system of you can switch between two different characters. Your weapons break, so you need to pay attention to your weapon levels and heal them up as they're going. As you kill things with the weapons level up, and you can actually turn different items into stuff to put onto the weapon. So if a weapon levels up, you basically get to put an item onto it. So you could be like, okay, I caught this fish. I'll put the fish item on it, and it'll make it stronger against fighting fish-type aquatic animals. Or maybe you have some like spicy peppers, and that'll give it a fire bonus, and it just keeps stacking, and the weapons keep getting stronger and stronger. So there's so many. That's not even like a quarter of them. There's so many systems going into this game. The male character can get this ride robot thing, and you can customize it and build it and give it all these different things. The girl can capture the monsters and become them, and then talk to them, kind of like Persona 5 style, and get information out of them and items from them. There is so many things going into this game that I can't even begin to express. But for a PlayStation 2 game, it holds up so well. It is unbelievable how good it is, and it's on PlayStation 4. I will say the trophy list for this thing is insane. Like, the time to beat the game, I think, is like 50 hours about.
Yeah.
The trophy is like 140 or 150. Like, it is a very difficult trophy to get. Well, I say difficult. It is a very time heavy investment to get the platinum for it, because once you level up your character to max, everything else is just formulaic. You just need to go through everything. But it just takes a long time. But I am really, really enjoying it, and we're going to talk about video game bucket list stuff in a couple weeks, like things that we've always wanted to do in video games or games that we've always wanted to play, things like that. And Dark Cloud 2, beating that game is like on my bucket list. So I'm glad that I'm finally going through it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to what little news we have this week. And we'll start with something that happened a couple weeks ago, but I never talked about it, and that is Steam will now allow all games on their platform unless the games are, quote, illegal or trolling. So basically there was a huge controversy. I think it started way before, but Hatred was one of the first games that brought it to attention.
Oh, yeah.
That game where you play as some guy who just hates everything, and he goes on like a killing spree, and you're killing civilians and whoever you want. And Steam pulled it from the store, and then issued an apology to the creators, and were like, sorry that we pulled your game, we shouldn't have done that, it's back up on the store, yada, yada, yada. Got all this attention. Then there was a school shooting game fairly recently that
I remember that.
That got pulled. That was like the Hatred game actually had some production behind it. Like, they clearly, put effort into that game. The school shooting one was like
game.
Just pre-used assets and stuff. So they pulled that one, and then the thing became what's acceptable, what's not. Is it just Steam deciding what?
It's their platform; they can decide.
Right,
so.
they're allowed to do what they want, but they didn't have like a don't do this, do this. System.
It wasn't written down anywhere. There wasn't anything to follow. Yeah.
So now there kind of is, and that system is you're allowed to put whatever you want on the platform as long as it's not illegal and as long as it's not trolling. So I imagine. You can't do any sort of like attacking real life people, things like that. But I guess you can get all your porn games and stuff on Steam now. So win for people who like the porn games. And that's why this is on here. No. Next up, let's talk PlayStation Plus versus Games with Gold.
Okay.
We got another rare month where we get them both on the same week.
It's happening more often lately.
It is. It's just a timing thing with when we film.
I'm okay with that.
But PlayStation Plus, we get Heavy Rain for the PlayStation 4, Absolver for the PlayStation 4, which is a game a lot of people really like.
Yeah.
Rayman 3 HD for the PS3, Deception 4, The Nightmare for the PS3, Nightmare Princess, Space Overlords for the PlayStation Vita, and Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma for the PlayStation Vita, which is one of my favorite Vita games and the third in a trilogy. So that's a little crappy because it's going to spoil the other two games if you play that. But that trilogy is amazing, and you should play the trilogy. That's the locked in the room one. Yeah,
I know.
This is the third one in that.
I know
series.
all about them and haven't played them.
They're so good. And then the games with gold are Assault Android Cactus,
Huh?
Death Squared, which is a pretty good game.
Okay.
And then the Xbox 360 games that are now playable on Xbox One, Virtual Fighter 5, and Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction. There's the Splinter Cell game we've all been waiting for.
I've never even heard of Conviction. I've heard of Conviction, but I've never heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah. Man, PlayStation just trounced them this time.
Correct.
Geez.
I mean, Heavy Rain's
Heavy Rain
awesome.
is awesome. Absolver's good. Rayman 3 is awesome. And Zero Time Dilemma is awesome. Like, that is a really good lineup of games.
Any one of those by itself beats the Microsoft list. Then you get all of them. So
yeah, so real awesome month. Go download your free games. Next up, Amy Hennig. We talk about her a lot. She hasn't made a game since we started this podcast. She hasn't made a game years before the podcast. Her last shipped game was Uncharted 3.
that's been a while.
It's been a very long time. She left during Uncharted 4. She hopped on over to Visceral to work on the Star Wars game for EA.
Yeah, that's coming out soon.
EA said that they don't want to make a linear Star Wars game that everybody wants. So they kind of canned the game and like moved it around and they closed Visceral.
Yeah.
And then she's finally come out on record and said that she's left EA in January. She hasn't been able to talk about it. She feels like, she hasn't got her side of the story, et cetera, et cetera. She said she still has respect for everybody there. She, had a good time there. It wasn't bad blood, basically.
Okay. Left on good terms.
I think the Uncharted thing was a little bit rougher.
Probably.
Yeah, but she says, I'm working independently and staying independent. I just started my own small little independent studio, and I am consulting with some people. I'm hoping to bring some people on board. I would love to have a little company, about 6 to 8 people, 15 at the most, and do some projects, do some VR. I've been consulting with some VR companies and doing a ton of research. So she's going to make something smaller. I imagine... she specifically talks about VR, so I'm hoping like a Moss type situation, that was an incredibly small team that made it an incredible game. But yeah, so she's doing independent stuff, which seems to be the route.
So she's still doing stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be the route that a lot of big names are going.
So they want to have a little bit of freedom, I'd imagine, to do what they want to do.
Kojima. I mean, he's technically
he kind of does what he wants.
He's just funded by Sony. I don't know.
That game made a lot of sense after seeing the trailer.
No. Anyway, so good on her. Still in for it. Still mad at EA for the Visceral thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes me so mad.
Why they closed them, but
next up, Google is rumored to be working on a console. So this is very interesting. I believe it was Kotaku who got the report. It is.
Yeah.
Because I have it written down. And it says, we haven't heard many specifics about Google's video game plans, but we have heard is that it's a three-pronged approach. Some sort of streaming platform, 1. Some sort of hardware, 2. And an attempt to bring game developers under Google's umbrella, whether through aggressive recruiting or even major accusations. So,
I like aggressive recruiting.
Yeah. Remember how there was like this rumor that Microsoft was going to buy EA a couple months ago or a year ago or something like that? Maybe Google buys EA. That seems like a much more plausible thing to happen.
They have the money for it.
They certainly do.
They have the money for anything, just about. And the processing power and like...
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. It's just a question of why.
They can make a great streaming service. They know how to do that really well.
The thing is, they've done stuff like this before, though. I remember Google Glass, and that was like a big push, and then disappeared.
It just
and then came back, and then disappeared, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're done with that."
That was a cool experiment. We're done with it.
That was a lot of money that you just they sent it out to people. People had it.
Yeah,
there was apps for it.
People warm in the world, and they tried them out, and they had spent a lot of money on it, and just like, all right, we're done. That was cool.
And that's kind of how I feel like this is going to go. I feel like they're like, oh, we're looking at it. And then they might get a studio or something, and then they're just like, not for us.
Like, we make more money just being Google.
Yeah, that wasn't necessary.
I wish they would do a streaming service, though, because they could do that really well.
I'm sure.
Because they could support it really well.
Correct.
Like, server-wise.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's interesting. We don't know anything about it. It's still a rumor, but if I had to guess, I would think this is more like a Google Glass situation where it's an experiment.
I think they should buy some small studios and just make PC games, because that would make sense for them.
That would be a good starting point.
Yeah. Well, do that for a couple years and see if you like being in the video game business.
Though Microsoft started buying all the studios, so you got to be careful. You better be quick if you're gonna do that. Next up, one of my favorite news stories of the week. Todd Howard, of course, one of my, definitely my favorite person at Bethesda. Rocked the press conference. My favorite part of that press conference.
Yeah, he was good.
By far, talking about Fallout and all those things. He was in an interview recently and got asked the question, does Fallout 76 have PC, PS4, Xbox One cross-play support? And the response was no. And it was confirmed by Todd Howard in the interview, saying, the reason is Sony. They're not being as helpful as everyone would like. He does not rule out the possibility of crossplay in the future, but he says, as of right now, it is a big trend in gaming. They clearly want it, but Sony's not playing ball, which is basically what everybody's been saying.
That's what we've been hearing for a while now. So
yeah, just adding more fuel to the fire. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Bethesda Fallout 4 had mods on Xbox.
Yeah, they had PC and Xbox mods.
And
support.
Sony didn't. And they did the same thing. They tweeted something out there like, we could flip the switch and have the mods on PlayStation, but they won't let us do it. Like, they just tweeted that out.
They just let it be known. Yeah, we would do it, but they won't let us. So.
But this is cool. It is, the fans are attacking Sony for not letting them do this.
Sick the idiots on them.
And now, if some companies start doing it, like, they have to be feeling the pressure. Sean Layton actually was asked to his face in an interview, hey, Fortnite, like, what's happening? And he gave an answer that was at least relevant, and he said they're working on something, and they said they're working on a solution that helps us as a business and fans will be pleased with. And that was at least a response.
It's at least him acknowledging it. So.
Yeah, because last time they put out a response, they were like, we sold a bunch of good units. That's not what they said, but they said like something completely irrelevant.
Something that's just ignored.
Yeah, and it's like, what is that? I don't understand.
Fortnite would be a good starting point, too. Like, hey, we can do this with Fortnite. Just start doing it.
I mean, I don't know, but it seems so easy. Everything works on Fortnite. Like,
yeah, it's a very well-made game.
They've done it. Everything's cross-play except for Sony. Sony's just sitting in the corner like, hey. I mean, you can play with PC and mobile people, but it just seems convoluted because of that.
It's a little different.
But speaking of Fortnite, and I'm going to keep this one quick because we talk about Fortnite a lot. The Fortnite map had a live update, which was very interesting, kind of an experiment that they did, and I actually missed it because the queue to get in was so long. I say so long, it was 7 minutes. I should have got on more than 7 minutes ahead. I didn't really think about it.
Correct.
But I went to go get on, and it had a 7-minute load time. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not doing this. So I went on a stream and watched it, and they had a live event that happened. If you were in a game during that time, you saw it. If not, you have to watch a stream of it.
You have to find it somewhere.
Missed it, yeah. And basically, there was a missile silo that launched the missile, which everybody thought was going to happen because there was countdown timers and alarms going off for the past couple weeks. The missile launched. It went through a portal. There was a voice talking that said everybody here is contaminated. And then the missile shot out of another portal and aimed at Tilted, which was interesting because people always want Tilted blown up because they don't like that place. Right before it hit Tilted, another portal caught it. A laser came down and hit it. Some pieces of it spun and hit Anarchy, and they're just in Anarchy now. And then the portal shot it up, and it hit like the skybox and cracked open the sky of the map. So interesting. Don't know what that means yet. I'm sure people are doing a whole bunch of research. If you aim at it, there's sounds coming off of it. And last time they did that, people, I forget what it's called, but they transcribed it into audio, so it made a picture. And it was just a taunt from the game, so it was like just taunting you. I would love to see...
I knew people would try it, so...
Yeah, I would love to see what the new audio is, and I am sure people are dissecting it and probably know by now. But it was a really cool live event that they did that, and then the map's just different now. And it was all live, no problems, no everybody got disconnected because it was loading something. There was no update for this, it just happened. And then if you played a match after that time frame, the map was different. It's really cool. I really hope that they do this a lot more going forward and use it to tell stories. If they can do these whole crazy scripted sequences, just be every Saturday at this time, something's going to happen.
Be on and see the cool thing we're doing.
That'd be really, really cool.
It is really neat. It was kind of cool to watch the replay of it. We watched it earlier. It was very cool.
Yeah, I was super impressed just because a lot of companies can't even launch a game without the server problems and stuff, and this I have no clue what magic they used.
It seemed like some kind of live update that they just slipped in there.
Yeah, it was really, really,
It was really well done.
And people didn't usually if there's stuff like that, people data mine it and figure stuff out beforehand. Nobody knew I mean, they knew that the missile was going to launch because that was hinted, but nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was really, really awesome. If this is the stuff that they're going to do moving forward, I am still interested in your game because I've been playing significantly less. I still play it, but I've been playing significantly less. A lot of that's due to the Switch Sony thing. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next season because next season starts in a week or so. So a lot of it's kind of figuring that out, but if they start doing this stuff, I mean, I'll keep checking in. I think that's really cool.
Keep checking on.
Next up, the team-based shooter for PlayStation VR, Firewall 0 Hour, will launch on August 28th. So it got a release date. Again, another example of this game was at E3. Why didn't you just give the release date at E3? Were you
Especially
scared?
this close, yeah.
Were you scared it was going to get lost in the shuffle? Sony's been very good with release dates. They're waiting until they know they're going to hit it to announce it. But I feel like they had to know at E3. I just thought it was strange.
It's close enough that they should have known.
Yeah, I feel like that was strange. Do you know this game?
Nope.
So
I don't keep up with VR stuff at all. So.
It is a 4v4 shooter game, full motion. You can use the aim gun, walk around the maps, whatever, with different operators. And when you die, you can look through the cameras and talk to your team and tell them where the people are. And all the characters have different abilities.
This sounds oddly familiar. Something I play a lot.
Yeah, it's just Rainbow Six
VR Siege.
Yeah, it's just Rainbow Six Siege Lite, basically, and it looks awesome, and I'm very excited for it.
Siege isn't 4v4 though; it's 5v5.
Sure,
that's a big difference, Kevin.
I mean, technically, it's a big gameplay difference, but yes.
Yeah, kind
of. And the maps are just very similar settings.
Siege,
and stuff.
Siege in VR would be so difficult.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, it'd have to be different.
Yeah,
there's a lot of mechanics and stuff. This game has a lot of. It has the operators and the mechanics and stuff too, but they're way simpler.
Yeah, it would have to be.
But I'm super excited for this game, and it's coming out physical on the same day. They're doing a bundle with the gun, so they're really pushing it. So that's good. Though the last game that they pushed with the gun was Bravo Team, and that game wasn't great. And then the game before it was Farpoint, and that game was good. I just don't like spiders, so I couldn't play it.
Oh my god!
I got 2 hours in, and I was like, I'm done, guys. This is too much. This is way too much.
I forgot that's why you stopped playing the game.
They're scary. Our final bit of news, Jump Force, which is a game that is coming to video game consoles.
I've never heard of it. Tell me all about it.
There's Death Note characters in it, apparently.
I know, I've seen the thing.
So Nick was real excited, and he wanted to make sure this got on here, even though he's not here. He's a big Bleach fan.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
And they've announced that there is 3 Bleach characters coming to Jump Force. And I'm going to butcher their names right now.
I'm so excited for this.
So there's Ichigo.
Okay.
There's Aizen. And there's Rukia. Rukia?
I've never watched Bleach.
Ikea?
His name is Ikea from now on.
So those 3 characters from Bleach are going to be joining Jump Force.
You know who Ichigo is. He's the main character.
I know what he looks like.
Okay.
I don't know who he is.
He's just the main character.
I don't know anything. I don't know a single thing about Bleach.
He's the main character. He has a giant sword.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
I don't know. I didn't know it was like a fighting thing. They fight a lot, right?
They fight all the time.
I didn't know One Piece was a fighting thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know Bleach was a fighting thing. I knew Dragon Ball. And what's the other one?
What do you mean? I don't know. Which one are you talking about? There's a lot of animes out there.
Well, it's like the shonen.
Naruto.
Naruto. I know that one's about fighting because they're like ninjas.
They're ninjas, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know a single thing about that. And I was not going to put this news story on here, but Nick made me, and he says...
Nick went back and added
Nick's
it.
reaction.
Took it out.
Woo! No exclamation point, so it's just woo.
He wasn't that excited, but he was pretty excited.
Yeah. I told him that they were going to put those characters in it because we were watching the trailer for it, which is live on the channel, actually. You can watch our live reactions to it. And I was like, well, the stinger at the end is going to be the Bleach characters because that's obvious thing to do.
They fit in really well with that style.
And they did Death Note, and I was like,
who doesn't
still my heart.
Who doesn't really fit with that style.
Doesn't fit at all. That game doesn't look fun to me at all either. I just don't like the behind-the-shoulder 3v3 fighting game. Like, they did it with Final Fantasy Dissidia. Yeah, Dissidia, the Final Fantasy game. I always want to say Disgaea. And
Wrong.
I didn't even like that. and I really like all the characters, I
Yeah.
like all the worlds, I like all the and I didn't like that game. So you're not going to get me with this, but Nick's clearly going to get it, and I'll play it.
Well, Nick's already got it pre-ordered, I think. Which means we'll get to play it.
Correct. Though I don't know if it's going to have split screen fighting. Probably not.
I don't know.
So we probably won't get to play
We'll
it.
get to watch Nick play it.
Sure. Let's move into our topic, which is Game of the Year so far. So, how you feeling about 2018 in the realm of video games so far?
There's a lot of games come out this year that I have and haven't played, or I've like half played and need to finish. Like I have your copy of God of War hadn't started.
Mm-hmm.
I bought Shadow of the Colossus, but it was in my no monitor TV for my PlayStation time.
Yeah, you got to play that on the Pro.
It's not even open. Yeah, I'm waiting for the Pro for that.
It's definitely a pro game.
I'm about halfway or more through Detroit. Far Cry 5, I've done a third of the map I need to go back to.
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler's not out yet, but it's like my front runner so far. That
Yeah.
game looks like a blast. I can't wait to just lose my life to that game for a little while.
I'm so excited to have it on a portable. That's
Correct.
like the first RPG that I'm like, yes, thank you.
This will fit great because of the
Switch.
the graphics, and it fits on the Switch really well because of the
Yeah.
way it works and
I'm
the
so
map
excited
layout.
for that game.
Correct. So I have that pre-ordered, ready to go. It's not out yet, but
Yeah. I'm like just overall about this year. Like God of War is an incredible video game. There's a couple we're gonna go through a list, but like I don't know if anything that is out right now besides God of War
yeah.
is going to make my list at the end of the year. Like I just don't feel like anything hit
It
with me.
seems like Detroit will get a mention, but I don't.
That's fine. I haven't played Detroit.
You hadn't played Detroit at all, yeah? You'll probably
that's-
play mine whenever I finish it. Probably next
that's
week.
possible. So let's go over some specific games, and I want to throw out some out there for Nick, who's not here, because he liked some games way more than us. So I want to start with Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I think that this is an amazing looking fighting game.
Oh, it's great looking.
Incredibly approachable. Anybody can play it, have fun, do crazy stuff. But I don't like the mechanics of it as a fighting game. As somebody who likes fighting games a lot, there's a lot of mechanics in the game that I'm very suspect about. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't really like that. So to me, I'm like, it's a beautiful game, but like, I just don't enjoy the core mechanics of the game. And I think that there's a tag game that they made that came out later that does everything 10 times better.
Yeah, I'm far more casual fighting game wise than you. I think the game's a lot of fun, but it's not something I would play ever by myself, so I didn't buy it. I just play it with you guys, basically. The game's a lot of fun, especially if you like Dragon Ball, but...
Oh, yeah, I know all of... not all of Dragon Ball. I know a lot of Dragon Ball, and I don't love Dragon Ball by any means. Like, I don't care about it. I
You
wouldn't
will
watch
one
it
day.
again.
You will one day.
I'll watch Abridged. That one's okay.
I talked about that the other day.
Next, Monster Hunter World came out in January. This is one of the ones that I put out there. I mean, Nick was waiting to get it on PCs. He's still waiting for the PC version. I played a bit of it. Not my style game.
Yeah.
I'm not into the do the same thing, like the Destiny style stuff. Do the same thing over and over and get like stuff to craft better
Slightly
things.
better things every
Yeah,
time.
you could argue, well, Fortnite's doing the same thing over and over, but like that's different. That's like deathmatch versus.
That's much more fast-paced.
This is a cooperative experience where you're like relying on random people or having a group constantly, and I'm not a big fan of that.
I bounce around too much to play a lot of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
The last one I played, I think, was 3 Ultimate, which they're really well-made games, and I like them, but I might get it when it comes to PC, but that's
fair.
about it.
They've done a lot of good updates for it. They have a lot of exclusive events things
They've
that
supported it
happen.
really well.
Real awesome. I'm glad that it's doing so well.
Yeah.
Just not for me. Not for me. Next, I threw Shadow of the Colossus in there. It goes against kind of my personal rule for Game of the Year at the end of the year, which is, remakes and re-releases and stuff like that. But that game is the best game that's come out this year. So I put it on here.
I bought it just because of what it is. I hadn't even opened it yet. It's still in its...
You like Shadow.
I love Shadow. The game's awesome. I only actually did half of the playing, so...
That's true. You did. You did the navigating.
I did and a little bit of fighting whenever you get bored or something.
Sure. I've played Owlboy this year, which is something that came to consoles. Not in love with that game. That game got a lot of high praise. I like it.
I like it because it's different, but I didn't actually play it. It's not my style of game. So.
I like it. It is not a platformer at all, which is kind of what I was thinking it more was. It is it's like a puzzle / it's not quite bullet hell, but a twin stick shooter. I guess that's the best
There you
way.
go.
You're using one stick to move around and the other stick to aim, and you're not really platforming because you can fly everywhere and there's no penalty to flying.
Yeah.
So you're more solving puzzles and doing some very difficult combat challenges. The game's fun. It's definitely good, but I don't like it more than a lot of other games that are on the same,
That
level
same
of,
group of,
yeah. I'd much rather play a Shovel Knight than this game. But I'm not mad that I played it.
I mean, Shovel Knight's a very high bar, so it's fair.
Yeah. Next up, I threw Final Fantasy 15 on here. You already talked about it a bit, but I wanted to throw that on here for you.
Yeah, it doesn't really count that because it just came to me this year. Because it came to PC this year, but
Yeah. Next, I put A Way Out on here, which is a game I will never finish. So I still have 5 chapters left. I brought it. I went to go visit my niece, who I was playing it through with. She sold her PlayStation, just 70, 80% done the game. She sells the PlayStation, can't play it anymore. Went to go visit her, had a PlayStation, brought the game, still didn't play it. Ended up watching some Unbreakable, some Split.
yeah.
Ended up doing that situation.
Oh, those movies related?
A little bit.
Huh.
Ended up watching those instead, and we did some VR and stuff like that, so we didn't get to it. So maybe that game is the best game ever. I will never know.
It's possible. I don't know. I haven't played
I
it.
will never know. My girlfriend did finally get her own PlayStation 4.
She did.
I'm hoping maybe to restart it with her and go down that route. Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, threw this one on here for Nick. Same team that made Dark Cloud. Don't know why one of those is so much better than the other. Next up, Far Cry 5. Good game.
Game's really well made. It's a pretty typical first-person shooter with a big open map.
Typical Ubisoft.
Typical Ubisoft, well made, well polished. Has a decent story from what I've played of it. I need to finish it. The game looks really well made. Like it functions. It has some fun stuff to do in it. You can do stuff like get the partners or whatever they call them, where you have like the bear attacking people and the dog who spots all the enemies for you. Like it's got some new stuff to Far Cry, but nothing super new or original.
Yeah, I still want to play. I really want that game on Switch, and I don't know why.
It's really well. That would be a great Switch game because you could go do like a Stronghold or whatever.
I'm starting to like my Switch a lot. Like I said, I traveled. I went to New Jersey a couple weeks ago, and I brought that Switch, and boy, did I get a lot of play out of it. I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and I was like, I'm just gonna bring it.
Just take my Switch.
Yeah, and in the waiting area, I just played it for like 40 minutes or however long they make you sit there. I was like, this is sweet. This is really nice.
Super convenient.
Played some Octopath, actually.
And it works really well. So.
Next up, a little gem called God of War. I think this is the front runner for me for Game of the Year so far. Really like this game. I think if you have PS4, you have to buy it. We've done a spoiler cast talking all about it. Really great game. The storytelling, the gameplay, the thing that holds it back for me is the combat. It does get better, but that opening. The interesting thing is the game kind of pulls you in and then keeps you really, really strong, like drags you through the whole game in a good way. And not a lot of games do that. Like sometimes you hit like a middle part and you're like, oh, this part's a little
getting
slow.
slow, yeah.
That game is paced really, really, really well for how long it is.
For as long as it is, it has to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it is super, super good. I'll definitely be talking about it at the end of the year. And I'm sure Nick will as well. And I'm sure you will as soon as you play it.
When I get to it, yeah.
Next up, I have Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. This is the Castlevania Iga game. It was a Kickstarter goal to make a spin-off of the game, like a 8-bit style version. Indie Crates, who did Mega Man 9 and 10 and Blaster Master 0, did this. It released everywhere, and it's awesome. Multiple playable characters. There's the main character plays just, like a Belmont from Castlevania series. It's super, super... it just rips off Castlevania.
Yeah.
And it's awesome in every way, shape, and form. Next up, Detroit Become Human. I think I'll love that game when I play it. I don't know if it'll be like that in God of War. It's a little weird because they're kind of fighting for the same space. Like, what's the PS4 exclusive story game that I'm going to be championing?
That I'm going to talk about, yeah.
And we'll see which one it is when I get to that. But you're really liking Detroit so far. Next up, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. I love this game. This is my favorite tag fighting game that I've played, which isn't that surprising because I don't like a lot of tag fighting games. A lot of them feel
you don't like Tekken Tag?
I do like Tekken Tag, but like I don't like the mechanics of that game
that's
very
right,
much.
yeah.
Like I like the characters, I like the combat, but it feels like you're just playing Tekken and you have two health bars. This game feels like you're a team. And that is
Absolutely, yeah.
that is the big focus of this, is you thrive together and you die together in this game.
Sometimes literally.
When you have one character left, how strong they are is dependent on how strong they fought together.
On how
up
well
until
you
that
mixed
point.
the two and played with both.
Yeah, you need to defend well with both. You need to attack well, well with both. It does that so well. And in Tekken, there is stuff like that, but it's mostly like when you're on the offense, you can call in your other guy to extend a combo, and that's kind of the extent of
It's
it.
just like a +1 instead of an actual game mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great to me, and I love Tekken. So yeah, my favorite tag game that I played. And then finally, I threw Fortnite on the Switch on here because just awesome to be able to play that portably. It is a very downgraded version of the game, and it's very much like the phone game upscaled, but it's enough.
That's perfectly fine, yeah.
It's enough to do what that game wants to do. And it's fun playing that one, especially because there's a lot of new players. So a lot of people aren't building and stuff, and you'll get into a fight where you're both just standing there shooting at each other, and it's whoever's bullets hit, and that's it.
That's how the game should be.
It's back to the roots of the game, which is pretty funny.
That's how it was when I still played Fortnite.
Yeah,
Somebody might build a wall. That was it.
yeah. I liked when it was
you
build a
build
wall, build a ramp, and then that's about it. I like building for the traversal. I like building.
It was building to get up the hills and building a wall.
I like
too.
building just to get on top of people. I think that's fine. What I don't like is when both people build and they start going crazy.
Everybody builds a fort and then they build a bigger fort.
I fell to my death in Fortnite for the first time ever.
Oh, I did that when I was playing.
I got into it. It was the final two people, me and somebody else, and he was kind of far away, and I picked him off for 50. He had full shields, and then I hit him for 50 again, and the map was still fairly decently sized. And we ended up meeting in the middle when the circle was really small, and we just built around each other, and I ran out of materials and fell to my death in a building battle, and he won. And I was like, this is the first time I've ever done that. It was very embarrassing.
I like it.
It was very, very embarrassing.
That's the Kevin I know.
Yeah, they've nerfed building a lot. How about we talk about some releases, and then we get out of here?
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Not too much releasing this week, really at all. But first, we have Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, because they're on Mars.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to buy the game just because of that. It's coming July 3rd.
I do want to buy the game. And I like Red Faction. So.
It's coming July 3rd for PS4, Xbox One, PC. Mushroom Wars 2 is coming to the Switch July 5th. I swear I've played Mushroom Wars. I don't know. I definitely haven't played 2. But I feel like this was a Wii game. And I have no, fact check me. I have no reason to believe that. But I think it's a Wii game, and I feel like it's made by the same developers that did the Pirate Ninja Dodgeball game that I played on the Wii. All of that could be fabrications, but I'm pretty sure that that's how that worked. That's coming July 5th, only to the Switch. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr.
It's on the PS3.
Is it really?
And PlayStation Network.
Maybe that's where I played
in
it. Maybe,
09.
Maybe it was a free game on Plus.
Real-time strategy
Can I see
game. Doesn't seem like your kind of game.
I've never played this
real-time
game
strategy game
in my life.
I've never seen you actually play a strategy game.
I have once.
What was it?
I played Fire Emblem.
Oh, that's right. You did play Fire Emblem.
I played Disgaea. I played Tom Clancy's End War.
I never even played that one.
I played it with the voice controls.
Oh, that's right. I remember that game now.
Anyway,
that's why I didn't
Warhammer's coming PS4, Xbox One, July 5th. Now, I'm going to...
Is that the Vermintide Warhammer? Or?
No, this is an expansion. Inquisitor Martyr, I believe it was called. I think it's an expansion to some stuff, but I'm not entirely sure. And I'm just going to check real quick before we get out of here what this Mushroom Wii game was.
Mushroom Wii?
Because I swear I played a game on the Wii. Oh, here it is. Mushroom Men, The Spore Wars. That's the game.
Why did you play that?
Why wouldn't you play it? It looks great.
I've never heard of it.
86% Nintendo.
Yeah, it's on a Wii. Of course they give it a good score.
Hey, man. Yeah, that's the one. This is not that game.
No. It's not
but this is the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for being here this week, Kellen.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for watching. We will speak with you next time.